Hello, everyone. I'm Edward Casillas from the Alliance National Parent Partnership Council, and we are continuing to celebrate parents and families as heroes and recognizing the many ways they support children to manage the many emotions they experience daily. This week, we are focusing on how parents help foster their children's social and emotional development. So today, I'm here with Victoria, Betty, Lucretia, and Lachey, some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Good to see you all today. So let's start with Victoria. What tools do you find yourself reaching for when you are talking with your children about emotions?
Thank you, Edward. I appreciate the opportunity to share. I think one of the ways that I try to help manage these emotions and even talk about them is remembering our reign of control. So I think for kids, it's really helpful to remember that how others feel is outside of our realm of control. And so when we're experiencing those emotions, we can talk about what we feel, but we have to, I think it's really important to remind them that they're not in control of other people's emotions. And so they always have to go back to themselves. What can they do? What other people do is up to them, and what they choose to do with what they're experiencing is up to them. So reminding them that what we're experiencing is valid, and how we choose to act on it is valid, and how other people act is up to them. And I think that really helps them regain their focus on themselves, which reminds them to remember how they're feeling in their body, and helps them remember to talk about what they're experiencing and not maybe the emotions that they associate with how others are approaching them. So that's one way that I help my daughter talk and discuss her experiences.
Oh, that's great, Victoria. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Betty, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What tools do you use when you find yourself reaching, I'm sorry, what tools do you find yourself reaching for when you are talking with children about emotions?
Well, Edward, if you've watched these videos before, you know that my child is special needs. And for me, when my child gets really emotional, I kind of transfer those emotions to myself. So what I need when I'm real emotional, I just need a good hug, you know, somebody to let me know they're in my space. So I kind of, I treat him, he's 14, but I go back to when he was a kid, and I kind of get close, and I kind of love him up a little bit and let him calm down, and that lets him know that I understand where he is. Once he's calm and collected, then we can work on how what's happening or what's causing him to be so emotional. But first, I have to get in his space and let him know that his concern is my concern. So that's one way, and not the only way, but that's one way that I strategize in helping him manage his emotions.
That's great, Betty. And you know what? I still love getting hugs from my mom, so it works. Lucretia, what tools do you find yourself reaching for when you are talking with your children about emotions?
So I've always there's lots of books and different little strategies and things, but I find it's particularly in this stage of my life, because I have two older boys and then I have her, she's our youngest and she's a girl. I've always used Mr. Rogers songs. And so particularly right now, she watches Daniel Tiger a lot, which is the newest version of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And if you remember from when we were children, Mr. Rogers had Daniel Tiger was a puppet, and now he's an animated character. And so there's something about his songs that are catchy and help you think about your actions, and the fact that they're in song is like easy to remember. So Also, you know, singing to my boys who are almost teenagers, if she wasn't here, they'd be like, Mom, you know, don't sing to me like that. But now that she's here, they find it the same. They find it cool too to like sing along. So, like when she gets angry or the boys get angry, we say, stop, stop, stop. It's okay to feel angry. It's not okay to hurt someone. And because she finds herself, you know, it's like humanly embedded that I don't know what it is, but like you want to, you know, when you get angry. And so that song like brings it to your attention, makes you kind of pause and think about your actions, and you're like, oh, it's not okay to try to throw or hit, or but it's okay that I feel this way. So I feel like those songs have really like changed the way that I parent, and I've always had them, you know, I grew up with some of those, just didn't think of them in that way. And we realized that because of the potty song. So if you have to go potty, stop and go right away. Wash and flush and be on your way. You sing that for them? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll find myself when I'm out, like, well, pre-COVID at conferences and stuff, I'd be like, if I have to go potty, stop, it's in my head, right? And so I just have these little catchy songs that we use to talk about our emotions, and it brings our emotions to the surface, and then we figure out how to deal with them, right? Yeah.
Wow, that's a great tool. Music is powerful. And your voice sounds really good. I don't know, right?
Thanks.
Come on now. That was really good. Thank you. Lachey, what tools do you find yourself reaching for when you are talking with your children about emotions?
Seriously, flexibility. That is the top of the list of trying to figure out things. I have a daughter that survived a traumatic brain injury at the age of 9. And so for me, it is how is she processing the moment? It could be something that she's remembering from a long time ago that she is upset about or sad about and starts crying, or it could be something present time and she's laughing. And so sometimes with a brain injury, it could be, of course, inappropriate emotions. Maybe she cries at a funeral, or she laughs at a funeral, or she cries at someone's birthday party. And so so it's being in her moment. It may not be the moment around her, and just being present with that. And I think that is like, it just keeps me on my toes to be aware of, like, it's not about reading the room, but it's about reading her and letting those around her be aware. So I think it's like my tool box is just all things could be thrown out and on the floor and scattered across the room, or it can be orderly where I pull out one, I can use this tool, I can use that tool. Oh. Am I still here?
Lost you for just a second.
See, flexibility.
Good example.
That is, it's not touch and go, but it's more of being present in the moment, whatever that moment is, and it could be unknown moments, and exercise self-care for myself so that I can be present.
That's great, Lachey. Being flexible in the moment and self-care. That's something we could all practice for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.